Alright, hi guys. So today we're going to be making a keto pumpkin pie. So to start off with this, we are going to start with the crust. Now I make a different pumpkin pie than most people. It's not going to be a hot pumpkin pie. I make a cold pumpkin pie. So right here I have 1.5 cups of almond flour. I have an entire stick of butter. I'm going to stick that in the microwave real quick and melt it. Now, I want a sweeter pie crust than just almond flour. So I'm going to take Swerve, and I use the confectioner's style when I'm using Swerve. I usually will use a regular erythritol and just grind it up, but Swerve was on sale. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of Swerve into my 1.5 cups of almond flour. Now, I am going to mix this in this giant bowl lightly to give it a little, make sure that the erythritol, erythritol and oligosaccharides mix is mixed together evenly. And once it's looking like it's combined, I'm going to check my butter. Needs another 30 seconds. It's not quite all the way melted. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Now my vanilla extract is sugar-free. I don't buy sugar-free. I actually, my family travels to Mexico a lot, so whenever we go, we stock up on vanilla. It's the best vanilla ever. It's pure down there. It's great. So mix the vanilla in. And then we're going to grab our melted butter. This is an entire stick. We're going to pour it into our crust. Now this should form a graham cracker-like consistency. I do have a few tricks up my sleeve for if it does not come out the way you want, which sometimes can happen because it is a more finicky style graham cracker crust. So what I'm going to do is we're actually going to grab some coconut flour. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of coconut flour. Now coconut flour is much more absorbent, which is why it helps to form the graham cracker crust. It's a much stickier texture. Now, if you buy the uvu flavorings, you can put a graham flavoring in this. That would be delicious. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to grab, what size is this? 8 by 8. I had to read it. I wasn't really sure. 8 by 8 baking dish. If you have a pie pan, that would work. I don't have any glass pie pans, and I don't like putting the reusable ones in the freezer. So we're going to take this mixture, we're going to put it into our pan. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of squish this down so that it makes a nice, even crust layer in the bottom of our pan. Now, a lot of people are going to ask me, why am I making pumpkin pie in the middle of August? So I recorded a jalapeno popper video, and it was for a friend's birthday party. This friend prefers pumpkin pie over birthday cake. So that's what we're doing. We're going to take some parchment paper. Right down in there, and just kind of press until it feels even. If it goes up on the edges, that's fine. It will give us a nice little crust on the edges, which it will probably do. Now, Some people would know this as a pumpkin bar as well if you don't want to call it pie because it's not in a pie form. I am alright with that. So, now while we make the filling, this is going to go into the freezer. Alright, so in the same bowl, we're going to start our filling. So, this is a giant Pyrex 8-cup measuring cup. I'm going to fill it with 2 cups of heavy cream. Perfect. 2 cups heavy cream. Now, this is my secret. I use an immersion blender with a whisk attachment. And I start on low. We're going to whisk this into a whipped cream. Okay guys, so right here I'm just going to speed this up just because I really don't think you guys want to watch me make whipped cream. So we're just going to whip this at a low speed with the whisk attachment until it becomes whipped cream. I've found that if you use the high speed, it will turn to butter. Okay, and for this recipe in particular, you do not want to whisk it all the way. You want it almost to a whipped cream consistency, but not entirely. I'm just going to check the lens, make sure we didn't get any whipped cream on it. No, we're good. Okay, so now we are going to take 2 tablespoons of swerve. Add it right in. And 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. So, if you get a little extra, it's okay. As you can tell, my pumpkin pie spice doesn't pour out correctly. So, and I measure vanilla in splashes, but we'll do 1 tablespoon for good measure. Boop. Okay, so now we are going to take half of a can of, this is all natural pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling, just pumpkin. There is a high carb count in pumpkin, but this is a treat. It's not something you're going to have every day, and it is technically above the ground. So I'm all right with pumpkin. Just half the can. So about that much. Now what I'm going to do is fold these ingredients in until it starts to form what looks like pumpkin. Now, it may need the rest of the can. I haven't made this in a while, and I usually use a big can. So, let's see. It all depends on what it looks like after it's whipped. So, it needs a little bit more pumpkin. I'm going to use the rest of the can. So, 1 15-ounce can. That's what this guy is. This is a decent sized canned pumpkin. I usually buy the giant ones just because I put it in my dog's food. And we feed 3 dogs at meals at my mom's house. My dogs eat breakfast there. So 1 whole can of pumpkin. Just slowly mix it in. Alright. Wipe the spatula off and whisk it in. So I just wanted to let you guys know that when making this recipe, this did make a very thick pie. If you wanted to make it much thinner, you probably could use 1 cup of heavy whipping cream and just the half of a 15-ounce can, and it would probably be just as delicious. This one makes 16 small slices. If you did it that way, you could have 8 regular size slices. And I do like to taste test it just to make sure that it's sweet enough. Now, this is kind of a recipe that you have to play around with because every time you make it, the cream will be a little bit different. So I'm going to add about 3 more tablespoons of swerve to this. So we're at 5 tablespoons total. And luckily I have another can of pumpkin because I personally think it needs a little bit more pumpkin flavor. The macros for this will be in the bottom. Don't worry. Sorry, I got cut off there. Just be careful when eating it because it is definitely going to make you poo. Okay, we're going to test this one more time, see if it's sweeter. Much better. Now, just because I know the person, this is how I would leave it if I was cooking this for me. But the person who I'm making this for has a huge sweet tooth, so I'm going to add a little bit more pumpkin spice pie seasoning and a little bit more vanilla. Now, the person that this is for also is not keto. Just everyone else at game night is. So we make everything keto, but Cody has quite the sweet tooth. So I'm going to add 2 more heaping tablespoons of swerve to make Cody happy. Everybody else is going to think this is very, very sweet, but we all eat ketogenically, and most of us do not eat high sweet diets. So I don't know where that went. Yep. Sickeningly sweet. Just the way Cody will like it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the crust, which has now firmed up. And I'm going to pour this on top. And it should pour out at the consistency of whipped cream. Now you could add cream cheese to this or some sour cream, and that would be delicious as well. I'm trying to keep this lower carb because there is a lot of pumpkin in it. And cream cheese and sour cream both do have a good amount of carbs in them, as does heavy whipping cream. So I'm just going to even this out like this. Cody does not like nuts, so I'm not going to add nuts. If I was making this for a holiday, I would put some pecans on top. And I am going to give it just a little sprinkle of pumpkin pie spice right on top. I'm going to put the lid on this and put it back in the freezer, and then it will...
Sorry, I got cut off there. And then it will be done. Once it's froze for about an hour, it's ready to serve.